Nigeria's public or total public debt is surged to about 149.39 trillion naira. That's about $97 billion as of first quarter of 2025, marking a sharp rise from 1 to 1.7 trillion naira. That's the previous year. Now, the debt to GDP ratio now stands at 52%, breaching the statutory ceiling of 40%. The president's administration, that's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, insists the debt remains sustainable and linked to growth-focused reforms. Now, Speaker of the House, Tajudeen Abbas, has raised alarms over fiscal strain and called for stronger legislative oversight. The National Assembly recently approved a $21.5 billion external borrowing plan for 2025 to 2026. Intensifying scrutiny over Nigeria's long-term financial health. Now, joining me to discuss this is, of course, Professor Simeon Nnah, is a public affairs analyst, and also I have Olusesan Okunade as a policy and public affairs analyst. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me on the program this evening. It's great to have you. Let me start with you, Professor Simeon. This will I call it revelation right now by what we're seeing as Nigeria's total debt profile, about 149.39 trillion naira. That's about $97 billion as of first quarter of 2025. And we still see, signs of more borrowing. Are we reaching, or maybe I should just put it this way, have we reached a tipping point? Are we at the red zone already?
You said it all. The Speaker of the House of Reps said that much days back. Although I think some people have spoken to him and he's trying to withdraw his statement. But he said it all, that we've gone 52 point something percent. That is far above the threshold. And the question some of us are asking is, what is this money for? What were we told when subsidy was being removed? Now, are we borrowing to subsidize subsidy? Have you equally realized that even agencies of government that are not revenue generation are now revenue generation? IG, IE, the police. Before now, the police duty is to secure the nation. But now it's a revenue generation agency. The tinted permit glasses it's not revenue generation, the person is being economical with the truth. Because if it's not revenue generation, it would have been a one-off thing. Now, look at the Minister of Interior increasing the passport. It was increased last year, it has been increased this year again. Now, these are agencies ordinarily that are not revenue generation. They are beating their chest that they have generated so much, met their threshold in August. And the question is, if you have made a threshold in August, why are we still borrowing? What are these borrowings for? Is it for 2027 election, or are you using it for any other thing that we do not know? The government should come out plain to tell us, because the president went to Brazil and he rolled out drums and was, eulogizing how much he has made in the administration. If you are making so much, why are you still borrowing? To the extent that the Speaker of the House of Reps that should know came out to raise an alarm that we are borrowing so much, we have exceeded the threshold.
Professor,
I think it's preposterous that the government is being economical.
You've raised a couple of issues here. You made reference to the removal of subsidy and what these monies are being used for. There was even, it was even alluded that the administration claimed that it had reached its financial threshold, in August. So why are we still, borrowing this, huge sums of money? I'm going to direct the same question to you, Mr. Olusesan. Mr. Olusesan, we know that at some point Nigeria was celebrating paying back its debt, I think to the IMF. Here we are again talking about a country drowning, almost drowning in debt. What's going on?
Good evening, and good evening to our viewers across the globe. First and foremost, I think part of the challenges we have with our leaders, both past, present, is inconsistency on the path of some of the things that they claim to do. Today, you hear positive aspect of it. Next, tomorrow, you'll be asking yourself the question, what actually made up the last statement in correlation with what you have now? If as at the end of August, all we are hearing was celebrating meeting the threshold of the set target, it reminds me those days where we're in the banking sector and you have a target and you made the target. It's as good as you just going to bed to sleep. And then all of a sudden, you have a plan for that set revenue target on things that they are actually to be used for. And lo and behold, the next thing is for you to go all out borrowing again. I said on a sister station this morning, the revelation by the number 3 citizen of the country seems to be something in the political space. If care is not taken, it will pay dearly for. And a lot of us are holding him accountable because there are 2 things he has actually revealed out to us. That one, Mr. President is solely carrying out some of this activity without carrying them along because they are supposed to have an oversight function.
Is that possible for the president to carry out some of this activity without carrying it? Because more often than not, they are the ones that approve this borrowing.
That's why we are saying that why all of a sudden someone who is supposed to have an oversight function is coming to give a caution when you are supposed to have actually used your weight, and we, the citizen, would have held a rancor between the legislators and the executive of the excessive borrowing. But you are approved, and all of a sudden, you are coming to tell us that you are actually going out of space that is actually dangerous to our economy. I ask too much. If it is in a sane environment, sincerely speaking, such persons should be considering resigning the position because as much that are entrusted in his hand, he has failed us. If he's coming to tell us that he has failed us, and from what Prof said, I heard from certain angle that he is actually accusing the media as usual, as misconstruing his statement. But the statement is clear. So I want to say that the position of the executive, the legislator, who are supposed to be control or check and balances on one another, has been revealed that they are not actually doing what is expected of them. And that is why we are where we are today. Don't forget that not too long, some administration had debt forgiveness that we were able to say we're starting on a clean slate. Here we are. A lot of us criticize this aspect of devaluation of our currency, which as we speak, even the old debt that we are, because of the devaluation of currency, has contributed to the increase of what we are having now. You can imagine if years back, just 2-3 years ago, you have about $100,000, which was at the rate of about 400, 300. You know the value in Naira terms. As we speak today, the same is like times 5 of the same amount you owe as principal because you have devalued your currency. These are the challenges that we are faced with. I will always tell person from the finance perspective, borrowing is not a crime. It is monitoring the activities in utilizing it for repayment that is actually an area of consideration in things that we need to do.
All right, Mr. Okunade, we'll definitely come back to you for more of this, but we'll go on a quick break now. When we return, we'll dig deeper into strategies of revenue generation. We know that issues around the tax reform have started generating a lot of buzz, particularly a caveat that a lot of Nigerians are talking about. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guests with me. Of course, I have Professor Simeon Nnah, is a public affairs analyst, and also Mr. Olusesan Okunade is a policy and public affairs analyst. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Now, let me come back to you, Professor Nnah. Let's look at, will I call it, the tax reform, which of course will take effect any moment, from next year. Part of what has been the point of conversation lately is something around the petroleum tax, where about a 5% surcharge on fossil fuel products, including petrol, diesel, and aviation fuel, might take effect. Even though Mr. Taiwo has come out to clarify, saying that, look, it's within the purview of the coordinator of the economy to make the announcement when that will start. It did not rule out the fact that that will take off. Just the timing just seems to be the case. But where I'm going to with this is the style of revenue generation. You made reference to the fact that there have been some sort of increase in certain levies that the government usually charged. And you said right now it appears like most of these agencies are out to just generate revenue. Now, is the problem here about the amount generated or the management of this revenue with a view to this level of borrowing that we are seeing?
Well, both. Whether the amount generated or what they'll be deployed into. Recall that even some of these fees, apart from maybe that of the passport, that of the tax you're talking about now, some of us don't know how it's going to pan out. There are issues in that tax reform. And each time Taiwo is approached and asked what will happen, he said the president will determine when it will take effect. But the president has said this thing will take effect from 4th January. Apart from the diesel, the fuel, and the other, fuel that the 5% is attached to, there's another major issue that people are not looking at. And I'm wondering why NECA and MAN is keeping quiet. Now, if that tax law takes effect from January next year, are they saying that it's going to be, the financial year is going to start from January? Because recall that taxes are, the taxes that will be presented next year will be that of this year. By June next year, we'll be presenting tax of 2025. So what that means is that they're going to use the new tax laws to tax people for this year that is running off. And that's going to be a colossal, damage, because man will not survive it. Most small-scale industries will not survive it. If that is done, these things were not cleared. Now, the 5% tax now, he's embedding it, and he's telling us the president will determine when it will take effect. The president has said this tax law will take effect from 4th January. What I expect is that people concerned, like TUC has said, they are going to call out their staff and ensure that this 5% tax is rescinded. Because if it does not rescind this 5% tax, it's going to cause a whole lot of problems. You are aware, you and I are aware, that any increase in pump price of fuel will, trickle down to every other thing. Because once the cost of transportation is increased, it affects the people in the market. It affects every other thing out there. So I don't know what they are trying to do. Otherwise, we are in for a major issue by next year.
All right, Professor, I'll come back to you. Let me direct the same question to Mr. Okunade. Mr. Okunade, what's your take on this new tax bill, which of course will take effect, and some issues that Nigerians are beginning to raise? For instance, the 5% surcharge on petrol, for instance, diesel and the likes.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me just put a little perspective to what my prof has said. The new tax law, which was signed June 2025, that will take effect January 1st, will not have implication on the financial year of 2025. You will still have your computation and all that you need to do because it's a preceding year basis on the 2025. It's 2026 account that will start impacting, and that's why a lot of people are actually working towards that. Don't forget that we have the process of e-invoicing to close the gap and bring more people into the net of taxation effective next year. But be it as it may, we might look at some of the negative aspects, but we've seen some of the reliefs that some of the small, medium enterprises are going to benefit from. Certain class of SMEs are being excluded from paying taxes effective from January. The gazetted amount speaks that if your turnover is 50 million or your fixed asset is 250 million, you'll be exempted from paying tax. What that connotes is that the revenue that you're supposed to use in making those payments can be plowed back into the business. And like Taiwo has said in some of his presentation, it does not make much sense in taxing, the capital of some of these organizations. Let's give certain reliefs. Don't forget we have a lot of relief that are coming, zero-rated VAT on some of the products that we have. We consider it as positive. But on the issue of this 5%, I want to say that this presidential task force, what they did was just to go and awake what you have in the books. It's been in the law, in the FEMA law that we have. What they just did was to do a deeper research and bring that up. And a lot of people have actually said, when you remove the subsidy, it is really not high time for you to bring the 5% of charge. And the interpretation from what I heard from the chairman was that this amount, if deducted, is actually for the infrastructure development, majorly in terms of road infrastructure to ease logistics. But a lot of us have issues. We still have a lot of loopholes, gaps in terms of revenue leakages, which is really our problem as a nation. Corruption. You will get this money, and after a while, a lot of us have picked Mr. Taiwo daily on that. That fine, he may have good intention, but what is the faith and the path of the politician that we know is difficult to give accountability when it comes to some of the revenue that has actually been generated? I think that is the major problem that we have. It is not just making those payments, because if you go to developed clients, they get those taxes, but the beauty of it is that they are able to apply it back for the development of the citizen in terms of enjoying free education, free healthcare services, and other infrastructure.
Just to pick up from there, Mr. Okunade, because we really need to go. I mean, talking about free education and the likes, in Nigeria right now, barely anything is free. Some are even questioning in terms of making life better for the people, what the role of the government is. Because it appears as if instead of the wealth being redistributed, it seems like maybe some of these agencies are just out to, generate revenue from the people. But
we have raised serious concern about that. And we picked it up on them that the people who are at the helm of affairs today benefited immensely from free education, free healthcare. But it's disheartening that they can't give back to the populace what they have enjoyed. Rather, they are actually putting more hardship on the people. And that's the disheartening thing. Because you wake up, a lot of us, if not for the free education that we enjoyed in Lagos through Lateef Jakonde, maybe we will not be where we are today. And we've asked questions. Students are resuming this week, next week. We are seeing a lot of depression on the part of the parent, which we call government to actually think through to make sure that they restore things, if indeed they have the pillar of the founding father as the fulcrum of what they call leadership.
All right, gentlemen, I'd like to say a big thank you so much to you. Olusesan Okunade is a policy and public affairs analyst, and Professor Simeon Nnah, the public affairs analyst. Gentlemen, once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for having us this evening.
All right.